Web 2.0. Getting backlinks from Web 2.0 sites has been a very popular trend over the years, in the recent years, in search engine optimization communities. However, it's not such a great way these days to get backlinks, in our opinion, and I'm going to discuss that now. There is a place for it, don't get me wrong, and you can get good backlinks, but I'm going to talk you through the real deal with Web 2.0. Before I do that, let me explain what Web 2.0 is for people who may not be familiar. A Web 2.0 site is essentially just a website that gives you web space so that you can publish content, upload videos and images, just like Facebook. And so these sort of Web 2.0 sites, you sign up for free, you get your account, and then you can go and publish a blog or whatever they give you. A lot of them are different in the way that they're set up. Sometimes they'll have a blog post area for you to run a blog. Other times it will just be sort of articles or your profile. It's just different for each one. And some of them just look like normal websites. When you publish it, it just looks like a website on their domain, of which you can change the colors and all that wonderful stuff. But obviously, anywhere you can publish content, you can put a backlink in that content, and if Google picks up on that content, finds the backlink, then it counts towards the backlink for your website. Pretty straightforward. So that's how Web 2.0 works. So building links from it can be good. One thing you have to keep in mind, though, is indexing. Just because you build a new page on a Web 2.0 site inside your account on that site, it doesn't mean that Google will find it straight away, or if ever. You do have to always, like anything when you've created a new piece of content, is try and help get Google's attention to come over and index that content. And for all indexing things, watch the indexing video in the Academy, because that's where we talk about getting stuff indexed. So just keep that in mind when you're building Web 2.0 sites. Before we look at some examples, I just want to cover off the pros and cons of Web 2.0. The advantages, the pros, are that you can get you can get a lot of backlinks relatively easily for free. You can go and sign up to quite a number of these. There's a good probably 20 or 30 that you can get a decent backlink from. They also tend to have a high page rank home page, the domain itself, so that can make the inner pages where your link would be also be more valuable because they're on an authority domain. So that's another advantage right there. Another pro is that you can often get a contextual backlink, which means you're putting your link in the middle of some content, and that again is a great type of link to get, where it's in the middle of an article. So there's some advantages of Web 2.0. The disadvantages or the cons of Web 2.0 is a lot of them are no-follow these days, and a lot of them, if they're not no-follow, tend to go no-follow, and you don't really have much say in that you don't have any say in that at all. So if you've gone and built hundreds of backlinks on these Web 2.0 sites, and one day they decide to turn their site to a no-follow their links, which means that Google will ignore them, then the value of those links will just get diminished, and it's totally out of your control. So you might have gone to a whole lot of effort to build backlinks and content and get all this network of Web 2.0 set up, and then it could just be devalued by the webmaster if they change their links to no-follow. The other thing is, and it falls under the same umbrella of being out of your control, is that if the webmaster who owns these Web 2.0 sites doesn't like your account for any reason, if they think this is just too commercial or what have you, then they'll just delete it, and they don't have to give you a reason. So, and there's nothing you can do about that. So that is a downfall. I mean, obviously the better content you put up there, the less likely that is to happen, and I think I've had that happen to me once, or twice, when I was just doing very spammy content, testing things out. But it does happen. So that is a disadvantage, because it's not under your full control, Web 2.0, because you don't own the website. They're giving you the opportunity to use their website for free, but you have to abide by their rules, and if they change the rules, well, you really can't do much about that at all. So that's Web 2.0. Let me just show you a diagram of what this looks like. Essentially, these blue boxes are all different Web 2.0 sites where you'd have your links inside the content that you put on these sites. And it all points back to the green box, which would be your target page. So it's just setting up these contextual backlinks surrounding your target pages and then sending them all the links to the page that you're trying to rank. Just like anything, remember to use anchor text when you build the link, the anchor text for the page you're trying to rank. So that's essentially what we're doing. We're just setting up a network of Web 2.0 surrounding our sites. Now, people do talk about link wheels with Web 2.0 a lot, so I want to address this now. A link wheel is essentially, instead of having a straight line of blue boxes across the top, they'd have it in a circular format circling the green box. In other words, a wheel. So you have this wheel where all the Web 2.0 sites are linking inwards to the green target site, but they also link to the next Web 2.0 site in the wheel and create this giant wheel where it's interlinked and linking to the target page. So it's interconnecting all your Web 2.0 sites. Do I think this is a very effective method? Not really. For what it's worth, I don't see a huge difference at all from building these types of link wheels with Web 2.0. I am an advocate for having a second layer of backlinks behind your first layer that's automated, which we do discuss in the Academy, where you'll have your first layer might be Web 2.0 and articles and press releases, anything like that. And then behind that layer, behind those pieces of content, you link to those, some say RSS feeds or social bookmarking or any other form of automation, profile linking automation, and you fire all those to the sites that link on to you. I'm an advocate for tiers, having different layers of link building and eventually pushing all of that link juice into your target page. But link wheels, I don't think there's a huge advantage for them. From the testing that we've done, it tends to be more of a headache than an advantage these days. Back when Web 2.0 started, I think there was a big advantage of link wheels, but I don't think they work as well as they used to. So really, when you're just setting up your Web 2.0, just send them all to your target page like so. Keep a record of the URL so you know where all your links are, and then work to get them indexed by Google. And again, watch the indexing video for that. So let's have a look at some examples of how to set up Web 2.0 links. Okay, I'm over at a website by the name of Weebly. It's just found at weebly.com, and again I'll provide a list of URLs for you so you won't have to worry about remembering all the URLs that I mentioned. Here is a classic Web 2.0 page. Somebody's got some web space inside the domain Weebly. They create images and they've got advertising, but further down they've got articles, and you can see in their article here they have a backlink, and as you can see there, if I check if it's a do follow or no follow, it's actually a do follow backlink. So that's a good thing for SEO purposes. So you get a backlink to your website. So there is the backlink. That's what we're trying to achieve when we use Web 2.0 sites for backlinking and SEO purposes. So there's a successful backlink using Web 2.0. You literally create an account, put some unique content, just like you would with an article directory. Make sure you're using unique content. Again, you might want to spin the content that you're using so you don't have to constantly keep writing new content. Then you place your links in the content pointing back to the page that you're trying to rank in Google. This particular person is trying to rank for free traffic system, so their anchor text is free traffic system and they're linking back to their web page like this. So that's a classic example of a Web 2.0 backlink. I'll just show you another couple of examples. Here's one on a site called LiveJournal. If I check the nofollow on this one, you'll see that it showed up a different color, and my particular nofollow plugin shows it up as a pink color. It doesn't really matter what nofollow plugin you use. There is a number of different ones that they all work in a slightly different color patterns. So my particular one showing it pink. Don't worry so much about what the color is, just make sure that it's right for whatever plugin that you're using. But as you can see, that's a nofollow link. So yes, it is. They do get web space, and you do get to write some content in your little blogging space that they give you. And yes, you can link it back to your website, but unfortunately, the webmaster has made it a nofollow link, so Google's going to ignore that backlink. So that's not that valuable for your SEO purposes. So that's one of the downfalls of Web 2.0. Anyway, so if we look back at the example that was a do follow, what you want to do once you've created your content on these Web 2.0 sites is you want to make a note and record down whichever way that you find easiest, whether it be Excel or a notepad document. Record down the URL. So I would copy that URL if this was my Web 2.0 space, and I would keep a record of it, and I'd also keep a record of what my backlink was on that page, just so I know this URL, I tried to get this backlink. The reason you want to record the URL is because you want to then make sure that it gets indexed by Google. So you need to go and do your indexing work to make sure Google comes to this page, indexes the content, and finds that link or these links. That's what your ultimate goal is when you're doing this. And as I mentioned, with Web 2.0, you really do have to work to get things indexed. So don't just put up the content and leave it. Keep a record of your URL, and then go and do your indexing techniques to make sure that more of your content in your Web 2.0 articles is getting found by Google. So there's a lot of different Web 2.0 places that you can go and use. I'm not going to go through them all now. I'll provide a list for you. You can use automation softwares. There's a number of different software tools out there that you can use to automate this process. It's up to you if you think that you're going to get enough bang for your buck out of the Web 2.0. Like I said earlier, I would consider this as a lower grade backlink. And the reason being is because you can't control the web property, and a lot of the links can go to no follow. But in saying that, you can still get a decent number of do follow backlinks, so I think it's worth throwing into the mixture. What I want to do now is show you a quick demonstration of how the Web 2.0 sites would be set up. If this green square is, we look at that as the target web page that you're trying to rank in the search engines, and these blue squares represent your Web 2.0 articles, so that'd be all different Web 2.0 sites. Essentially, you're just linking them straight into your target page like this, with the link that you create using the correct anchor text that you want to rank this particular web page for. So you can deep link from these Web 2.0 sites to all the pages in your domain. You don't just link to the home page. You can link to all of your deep inner pages as well. Any web page that you're trying to rank in Google, you can do this for, whether it be your home page or other pages. You can also, a lot of people talk about the theory of link wheels, which is essentially where you're connecting these sites to get your Web 2.0 sites together. So this one would link to this one, and this one would link to this one, and you sort of link them across, and then you create a bit of a network. You can do that as well, but from my experience in Terry doing SEO, it doesn't have a huge effect these days anymore. So the amount of time and resource needed to do it, I don't think is really worth it to create a link wheel format, even if it's not a complete closed link wheel, when it's just a one-way link wheel. I really don't think the SEO effect is big enough to really warrant the time involved to link all these sites up together. But definitely getting a one-way link from a Web 2.0 site will have a slight boost in your SEO for the particular keyword that you are trying to rank. So just to reiterate, make sure you keep a record of the URLs and then go and do your indexing techniques. And we mentioned that in the indexing video in the SEO Experts Academy, because it's a topic all on its own that we really want you to watch and nail down. So remember to do that. So that's all for this Web 2.0 backlinking video. Thanks very much. Bye.